So this is the F55 baseplate. Now what are the differences between this and the Universal baseplate?
Well, basically it's just a smaller, thinner profile so that the camera's not as tall when it's on your shoulder, especially in a recoil configuration.
So the Universal baseplate had this adjustment to go up and down, but the situation was, I think even in the most down configuration, you couldn't get a matte box at the right level. Most matte boxes don't have this height adjustment where you can go up and down. Now the one that we sell does. The Petrov actually has a height adjustment. Yeah. But in this case, we had to lower this plate down and make a specific.
Right, so it's 85 millimeters from the center of the rods to the center of the lens, which is what most matte boxes need.
Right. So let's take a look at the rig. So this rig is called the F55 Tornado Recoil. And we have another version of the kit that's called the F5 F55 Recoil. And the difference is that the Recoil comes with V-grips, and the Tornado Recoil comes with
the Tornado and the single hand grip.
And our Z-Drive follow focus. So it's a pretty good bargain because you end up with a follow focus on top of it for not a lot more money. The idea of the Recoil is making the camera shorter by not having to have the camera in front of you, by shoving the camera back. So like in the old days, we would put the camera here, we would have a counterbalance and all this crazy stuff here, but with the ability to have an EVF that moves forward, and this particular camera has its own EVF and mount, but with other cameras we use our axis mount, which can put the EVF here or back here. By doing that, it enables us to shorten the rig, get the camera back on your shoulder where it's supposed to be, and getting it looking like an E&G style camera. By moving this lever on our new shoulder pad, he has the ability to balance this thing exactly where he wants it on his shoulder and then lock it in.
Or pop it off and go right to our tripod adapter plate and snap it right on.
The wedge plate here,
officially known as our QR dovetail plate.
Right. Works with Really Right Stuff, Kessler, and of course our tripod adapter plates.
Right.
So here's our Z-Drive follow focus.
Well, now that you have the camera on your shoulder in the recoil configuration, you obviously can't use a traditional follow focus right up, in my face here. What the Z-Drive does is it angles it out and places it in a really nice position so that your wrist is in a great operating position and I can reach it and it's smooth, inexpensive.
Now, what happens when you put the Tornado on there?
Their Tornado transforms it really into a focusable grip. So now I'm always holding on to a grip, yet I can change the focus without letting go. Traditionally, if I had to grab the other follow focus, the camera would move when I let go of whatever grip was here, and it'd be a little more unstable and hard to reach. So right now, I don't have to do any of that. I can just keep my hand right on it.
And it's rock solid. I mean, I think this is actually nicer than the old style where you had your hand up in here and your other hand, because you still had some rocking back and forth when you were doing stuff. Show them how rock solid you can hold that.
I could operate this all day like this.
I mean, it's like a tripod, man. You can hold that so steady because both hands are holding the rig.
Right, so the bottom horn part, if you want to call it that, is what's always grasped by your fingers. It moves even though I can let go of the focus part. I don't have to let go of the horn. I can continue to turn it and grasp it.
But for most lenses, you never actually take your fingers off of this focusing wheel.
The range is, depending on what gear size you have, the range is well within that area.
Now this type of lens, you would probably need to do some ratcheting on because this has a very large rotation. PL mount lenses typically have a large rotation, zoom lenses, things like that.
Right, we're going to have different diameter gears that'll help reduce the amount of rotation needed for those cine lenses.
When you go to like these Canon style or Nikon style lenses, the rotation is minuscule, so you'll never ever do this sort of ratcheting effect like that. Right. You'll just literally be turning it just little bits, and it's really comfortable.
But the point here is that I don't have to let go of the grip to do this now.
Right.
I can keep it gripped with my lower fingers and ratchet it, as you call it, like that.
This kit is called the F55 Tornado Recoil, but it also comes in a version called the F55 Recoil that's just a hand grip system, and it doesn't have the focus control built into it.